happening, everyone? It is Tuesday. Happy Pi Day, by the way. 314 Pi Day to all you nerds out there. I am pumped. I've got the Red Bull background today. I haven't did Red Bull background for a while. So just a little excited. Got my RH Maxi shirt on as well. Yeah, got that on. Got the CFD token, Roger and Scivive. Those were the highlights of 2017 that I could think of when I made these shirts. Drop an eggplant emoji in the chat if this shirt disgusts you. I've had some comments. Well, comment on the videos lately about RHMax ruining PulseChain. Oh, that's funny. I just want to throw that out there. Anyways, yes, Finbear, happy Pi Day. Good to see you. Good to see you. Chad, Donner, Schwant. We're gonna go backwards in the chat real quick and say hi to everyone. Whoa, Trippy Main. Yep, that intro courtesy of Markable Land of Beards and Wells. Only one. However you can find him. Makes a lot of amazing intros for everyone. Johnny Chaotic, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Appreciate you joining us. Hopefully I can teach some stuff. I did a few of these Dev-splaining before, and they seem to be helpful. So I'm going to back up and go through a few of the updates that Richard did before, as well to set some context. Going to learn about cloud a little bit today too. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, you probably should be if you plan on doing anything on a server on the internet owned by someone else. As Richard likes to say crypto freedom. Good to see you. Good to see you. It is getting more exciting. It is true. It's one day closer. One day closer. It's the best way I can explain it. De-existentialist from the Pulse Tube. Good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. You and the Red Squirrel both for the algos, and I know you'll watch it later. So I know it's late your time, so I appreciate you coming on just to give me a boost. Godfather J6, #1 again. #1. Oh, thank you, Kevin Beard. I was reading Finbear's comments. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I know I take it with a grain of salt. Every time I see it, especially, if I'm not going to go in and insulting whoever it was who did it either, but you can tell by some of the messages, their deal. So I don't take it personal. But yes, I appreciate you having my back, Finbear. Pretty good day so far. Yeah. Excellent day. I would say excellent day. Wow. Hex price keep going up. PulseChain keeps getting tweeted about by the man himself, Richard Hart. Let me throw up. God, I got to quit saying that. I keep doing it. I'm not going to throw up on the screen. I'm going to put up on the screen. It just feels so natural when I say throw it up there on the screen, right? But I always say it in a very funny way. Let me present my web browser so you can see some stuff that's going on. Gang, Davis, welcome. Yeah, share the link. Tag me on Twitter so I'll know that you shared it if you would like me to see it and for me to like those or try to like those and try to retweet them from time to time. If you want to get some more people in here asking some good questions, probably I'm going to go for maybe 30 minutes or so from now. So let's say 33 more minutes. Cut it off right before 5 o'clock. But hopefully it'll be an action-packed episode. I'll get to as many questions as I can. The big news, and then I want to kind of I'll show you how to do some Twitter and stuff too that Richard talks about that could be interesting to do some research on as well. But EBS volume, I just want to start with Dev-splaining this real quick. PulseX news, really just PulseChain in this context. EBS volumes are warming up. What the heck is EBS volumes? So in the cloud, so let me actually, if I can pull up a diagram of, how do I do that? AWS Cloud Services diagram. Let's look at it real quick. Something to show you the different services that Amazon has. So a cloud server, a VPS, they're all kind of the same thing, just different implementations, different companies. But I want to explain and show you because, I did a lot of cloud stuff for years, so I can't find a good this kind of looks at it a little bit. So infrastructure block storage, so that'll be like your EBS volumes. EBS is just the Amazon service that handles hard drives. Think of it that way. So SSD, other types of hard drives, there's different backup services that go with it. So the reason he talks about EBS volumes warming up, it sounds like just extrapolating from these few words we get in the tweets. The blockchain is syncing to the hard disk, right? And the hard disk services are EBS, and they come in volumes, and they're separated by stuff like that. So he's basically talking about blockchain syncing, disk usage happening, nothing super exciting. And then the next one, Block Explorer, is 95% done syncing. So again, it's, things are getting indexed. Disks are going spinny, basically. Although it's been sitting at 95% for a good long while. Interesting is he could be speculating there that this is not a, hey, one more day and 5% more is done, or a few hours or so. Sounds like he's saying don't get too excited because, it maybe take a little bit longer to think that. But PulseX, here's the interesting part. So the PulseX part of this news, PulseX is deployed. So that kind of gets lost, I think, in everything else. It did for me, at least. PulseX is deployed. So again, reading from these sentences that are that have connections and words and all that stuff, it sounds like he's saying PulseX is deployed. That's very good news. So we got, we assume V2 up and running, which Richard talked about before. He likes the fundamentals in that. I've clipped it myself. If it hasn't came out yet, I've got a ton of vintage RH clips coming out every Thursday till January 2025. And I may clip some more. It may be even later. I don't think I'm going 2026 though. That'd be rough. AMM ratio repair hasn't been run yet. Okay. So that's the AMM fixer bot. It hasn't been run on the private testnet v3. What they're working on getting synced now, so they can release it to the public and make it a public v3. That's the difference too, by the way. I mean, there's always a private testnet because implicitly it hasn't been released to the public yet. So when people say private testnet, public testnet, everything's a private testnet until it gets released to the public. You can kind of think of it that way. Can't wait until it's public. Yes, sir. Neither can we. So back to the services real quick, because it's going to lay some groundwork for some other tweets that may make more sense too. Compute. So you have compute, which is EC2 services, which are the actual servers, the full servers you can spin up. You have the network layer, which I guess that's referring to maybe this security groups, which is kind of your firewall. It can refer to your bandwidth, the network cards that are actually processing the network transactions that are going back and forth to the servers. And then a bunch of this other stuff is object storage. It's kind of like, so S3 could be referred to that. S3 is where you can host blocks or files or anything you want on the internet. And it could be websites, it could be whatever. That's kind of the file service for Amazon. Runtime makes me think of Lambda. So Lambda is, you can write Lambda functions, which basically code as a service. So you could write a Python script. So if you just want to run a Python script that just pulls down stuff from the internet, you don't need a whole server to do that. Actually reduces a lot of your attack surface if you just use a Lambda function or a Lambda service to do that. So Amazon provides all these different services to do all these different things that devs want to do, including run nodes, run validators, run code, run internal private networks within the Amazon cloud as well. And then, of course, run stuff that talks to the internet, that allows remote management, that allows you to build websites and whatever else you want to deploy to the world. So just want to give a overview of that. There's monitoring stuff and all those things as well. But I wanted to explain that just so you have a little bit more context when we go through some of the cloud stuff, because Richard throws these words around like EBS, and otherwise you need a Google and a spreadsheet to look at to understand sometimes. So give me just a moment. And so let me take a look at the chat real quick, and then I will go into the main event. What is the price now? Let's go to Trading View real quick. Trading View X. Could go to Nomics as well, but we got 80852. I like it. And look at this, the 1 year chart. Look at the 1 month. We change it to those beautiful, beautiful red and green. Name your favorite word. And yeah, look at that. What is that? Wow. March 9th. Was that just a week ago? That's crazy, huh? Crazy. February, we were at 4 cents. Let's do 6 months just to look at it real quick. Amazing. 2 cents. What did we get to? That is incredible. It looks like 1.8, like 1.819, close to 2 cents. Man, it seems like every time around Christmas, around the end of the year, yeah, these bottoms, amazing bottoms, especially in the market conditions that we've been in. So if you bought here, you're looking pretty good. If you bought here, you're looking pretty good. If you bought this dip, as of today, looking pretty good. So we love our hex chart. Cool stuff. Yes, thank you, Uncle Will. What's up, Paul? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Welcome. Duke, good to see you as well. Duke is of booze or off booze? Not sure which one, but I hope you're having a good time there, Duke. Let's see who else is here. Cool Tropical. Good to see you. Welcome. 5x being in, yeah, you're getting 4 to 5x. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Chris A. It's looking pretty good. Just sold some rims and tires ago. Wow. Far out aliens with the EINS. People, last few weeks, people seem to have been selling stuff. I've seen a lot of Twitter of them. It's funny. It's like you're selling stuff. They say, "Oh, risk on assets." You sell those first on it. It's funny. Like people are selling their real life assets. Maybe it's their car, maybe it's their just extra stuff lying around, trying to get that extra money into a product that over time, at least, it's proved to be very solid up and to the right. And of course, in this market, hard to say 2023, but PulseChain being closer and just the fundamentals in Hex and it being just went down so much, down 95%. Insane. I tweeted earlier, would you rather bought Hex at a 95% dip or be 95% close to PulseChain as we are now? Like, it feels like 95% to me that we're in the home stretch. It feels like to me with PulseChain with the testnet. Now we got to hope nothing crazy goes wrong with the testnet. There's no bugs delay and months delay. We got to hope that, but have no expectations. You'll have no disappointments, and that's what's kept me in good spirits this whole bear market. This whole we got to be on 24 months now. I got to redo the count. I keep saying 23 months because I'm not quite ready to tick the head or tick the clock over 24 months quite yet. But have no expectations. You won't have disappointments. Just wait, and it seems to work out if you do that. Anyways, going to get back to the main event. So let's see. I'm going to drop this in the chat in case you guys want to do this too. So I did some Google foo recently. Or not Google foo, Twitter foo. And this is how to, not a virus. I know it looks kind of crazy URL in the chat. This is how you do advanced search for Twitter. I'm not sure a lot of people know how to do this. So you can use these identifiers and say, okay, you want to see something from Richard that says PulseChain or different words. So this is what I've used to, let me bring up the other, let's see, I'll show you where another useful way of doing this that was on Twitter. Search for it, Max list, good heart win. And this one's Hex launch. This one's another useful one. So if you want to see what Richard was doing, thinking about around Hex launch time, you can use identifiers since and until, and you can set dates for them. And you can say from Richard Hart win. So that's pretty cool, right? Now we can go through, don't have to go through a bunch of crap and look at it. We can just see what he was talking about, kind of get that eerie feeling. Are we close? Can we make conspiracy theories from this? All that good stuff. So there's other identifiers as well. You can use keywords and you can search for multiple things. And it doesn't have to be this one phrase, which is, I think the default is just like, look for this phrase. If you don't find it, then show me the chicken or something that says couldn't find it. Why am I thinking of Ducks and Greg and Airfriend Somi and fluffy slippers. And I watched a couple of those videos today. Hilarious guy. Shout out to your friend Somi. Hilarious. So anyways, this one in particular, I'm going to go through because it's sorting by the latest. And so I'm just going to scroll down. Maybe there's a way to make it descending only, but I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just going to scroll down a little bit because he really didn't start talking about this until end of January anyways. So yeah, this was a big one. I remember on this, he was talking about the stages. Everyone's like, oh, the stages of Aragon. What are the stages? So I'm not going to go through the stages of Aragon. Search for, you can watch the other Dev-splaining videos. Also search for Gamma DevOps. He does a bunch of stuff around this Dev-splaining as well. But let's go back to, this is a good, January 18th. So testnet v3 is coming. There are 4 clients. So GoPulse, which is Geth, which is, I guess, are we calling it GPLS now? Maybe something like that. The repo eventually will be. So Geth, Prism, Aragon, a Lighthouse. Here is the Beacon Explorer. And I did some research on this before. I think that is forked from the blockchain.info Explorer. I forget which one it is, but that Beacon Explorer, pretty slick, pretty nice, forked from there. So the main things, the things that keep causing all these delays for the past 2 months, let's say, the delays were, we forked ETH, and then besides all the fixing up the numbers for the supply, besides the AMM bot, and besides the Block Explorer and all this stuff, getting the clients to just sync and work and the forked code, just getting it all working. That's what we've been going through. And the biggest client, they kept failing and having these bugs. And maybe your PulseChain developers are working with the Aragon developers. Maybe there's some bug fixes there too. Aragon is the client that we've seemed to have, at least from Richard's tweets, the hardest time syncing. So, and then we go through different stages, which is just blockchain metadata. And then we do stage 9. And then basically, let's see, since January 25th, wow, what did it take? It took like a month or so to finally get Aragon to properly sync things. And it probably should take 2 or 3 weeks if we didn't have any bugs. So, that was what, a couple, pure speculation, obviously, but maybe that was like a 2 or 3 week delay figuring out the bugs. Why isn't it syncing? Then we don't know how many different nodes and validators that Richard's going to produce. And then, you got to sync them across each one. I know we have some beefy hardware because I don't know which one. One of them had like a terabyte of RAM. I don't know which one it was. But again, you're talking about EBS snapshots. So that's just snapshots of the hard disk. So it's another AWS cloud term, EBS. So let's see, just scrolling through. If you have questions, throw up in the chat, by the way. I'm just kind of riffing on each one as we get closer and closer to the current date. So again, GoPulse, which is a Geth fork, Prism, Lighthouse, and Aragon. And then most of it, yeah, again, it's about syncing the stages, syncing the metadata, syncing the blockchain, getting them to work, snapshotted. So let's see. See, when he says snapshot, I'm not sure exactly if he's saying the snapshot all the way to the breaking block. Okay, because there's 2 different uses of snapshot here. So snapshot with the EBS and the hard disk volume means take a point in time dump, or take a copy, make a copy of where we are in the process, which is really smart to do, because if you're syncing a blockchain, everything is going well, or you're syncing anything else, you don't want to lose track of the process or you want to be able to revert if something happens, or otherwise you want to take snapshots of that. So sounds like he's taking or using snapshot 2 different ways. One, talking about the blockchain data, getting that synced up to a certain snapshot or a certain time period. And then the other one is the actual disk. Maybe sorry about that, maybe it's not. Again, I'm reading the words and trying to extrapolate the meaning based on the limited number of characters here. So February 18th doesn't go very well. So private testnet. So he first mentioned private testnet v3, which I think he was just, I imagine he was just on Twitter and it's like, everyone keeps asking, is there a private v3? And it's like, again, I explained earlier, of course there is. A private testnet is anything that's not public. So I think he first started using the term here. He capitalized it to make sure there's no confusion. Nobody makes a bunch of tweets and saying it's going to launch in hours, stuff like that. And then, yeah, it's just been Aragon problems. It's been, let's see, worry about rolled back version of Aragon. Yeah, trying to figure out the right version with different open source software. You have different branches a lot of times. So there may be a main branch where, or main or master, it's another thing it's called, where all the stable bug fixes are. This is a stable branch where, you know, most of the people are using it. It's been tested, it's been vetted already. And then maybe there's beta branches. There's just other fixed branches that need more testing before they get merged into the master branch. So he's talking about here, Aragon version. Devs are working on a rollback Aragon version. So it sounds like they tried to use the latest or something, or whatever version they were using, and then rolled it back to see if that worked, or testing a new version. Let's see. What else? Yeah, mostly just stages. I'm going to scroll up here, keep us moving along because I got 15 more minutes. Again, drop your questions in there and I will get to them. Yeah, I'll go through this for a minute and then save the last few minutes for questions. Mainnet panic due to a peer being added to. Yeah, I feel like he's just the devs. He probably gets daily updates from the devs of like, you know, what happened yesterday, what are you working on today? You know, it's a common thing in software development. And he's just taking stuff off of the list, that the status updates from the devs, and either copy and pasting or putting in his own words onto Twitter, which is, I love it. I think it's awesome. I definitely love to have the data rather than not. So yeah, I mean, nothing super interesting there. Just still trying to sync the blockchain. I guess this is times that it takes for each of those stages. Well, stage 7, 30 hours. Yeah, that's actually good information. Some of these tweets I haven't seen before either, because he'll make a tweet and then he'll make it like 4 or 5 long in a thread, and I've already not looked at it anymore. So pretty interesting. A panic, by the way, is you know, there's a lot of different ways it can manifest itself in software, but a panic, generally speaking, I believe what he's talking about here is, especially in Golang, like that's a common word, panic. So it's just a crash. A panic is a crash. A segmentation fault is a crash in, like, you know, some of the other languages, C, C++. So he's just talking about the crash could have happened any moment given during the runtime. So yeah, EBS keeps snapshot. He uses different contexts. It's here, building an EBS snapshot. Okay. So what he's saying here, this server is part of building an EBS snapshot. So it sounds like what they're doing is, once they have everything synced and ready to go, they're going to take a copy, kind of like a virtual machine copy, like you can clone a virtual machine, take a snapshot of that, spin up as many nodes and validators as you want, and then load that snapshot where everything is synced, ready to rock and roll, into all the servers that you want to run, all the validators you want to run, for example, all the nodes, whatever it is that the servers are doing. And then from there, they can just sync the rest, whether the snapshot's 10 days old, then they just need to sync the other 10 days. But you've already got a working testing version of it. So that's what they're doing here. This is actually really interesting because, again, I haven't read every single tweet Richard did on this, and now I'm getting like a more clear picture too as I go through it. Yeah, 1 terabyte of RAM. Amazing. Which is important for the performance of Aragon's key store value. Yeah. So more memory you have, the faster operations you can do, essentially. That you want a lot of the operations that you want to do as many as you can in memory because it's fast, but you have less of it than you would a hard disk, for example. Even though SSDs are super fast, in-memory stuff is always faster than a hard disk. It's just how it works. So we're getting caught up here. We're getting closer. See, y'all might think that you don't have to understand all this stuff. Should I say it in RH's accent? Which accent? Which one? But if you want to be a validator, you're going to be running You're going to be running similar code. The good news is sync it's way harder to sync than you enjoy. Okay. Cool. Everything's fine. No code. So this is when he starts saying, okay, the code is done. So I like that. Code is done. We know at March 6th, based on what we've heard him say, code is done. We're just syncing. We're just indexing at this point. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Open source software. Open source software is great, by the way. Like a lot of companies in the world, especially in big tech, based on depending on the license and stuff, there's different open source licenses, but they all use this stuff because why would you want to reinvent the wheel? Why not use open source stuff? Then the companies can contribute back to the code base if they want. It's funny that Microsoft is running Linux for all their cloud stuff in the 2020s versus in the 2010s, 2000s. It was like die Linux, bad. It's kind of amazing. There's a Linux subsystem in latest versions of Windows where it feels almost seamless. So Microsoft did a 180 on their stance on supporting Linux stuff, but it's smart too. Smart. They bought GitHub, made a lot of smart moves. So March 7th, bug fix, Pulse still seeing the latest version. We're still doing stage 8s. We're still doing all this stuff. Restarting Prism. So this is, I remember this. So Prism, Lighthouse, two of the other clients for PulseChain seem to be hit and miss with regards to peering. Okay, so interesting. Sometimes we'll start and quickly peer. So peer as in talk to other validators and nodes, but sometimes they reject a established connection with peers, failing handshake or get rejected goodbye message for the reason. Yeah, so this is the only problems I've heard of with the other clients other than Aragon. So Aragon, the problems were they keep running into bugs. They keep it from syncing completely. The problems with Prism Lighthouse were peering issues, which means it sounds like they didn't have any problem syncing, but they were having a problem communicating on the broader network with other nodes and stuff. So let's see. This is actually fun for me to reading all these because, again, I haven't seen them all. Insane amount of work, PulseChain, PulseX, Bridge, Aragon, Geth, Lighthouse, Prism, Block Scout. So yeah, so you got Block Explorers, you got Terraform. So Terraform, I talked about this before in the Dev-splaining videos, but it is basically infrastructure as code. It is a config file essentially, or a language, a code, I guess you could call it, that says how to deploy infrastructure, what to set up, how many servers, how big a hard disk space, how much memory. And the reason you want to do Terraform templates or Terraform modules, I forget exactly. There's a bunch of different ways you can call them, but it makes infrastructure much easier to set up, much easier, and you don't have to do it from scratch each time, either using the AWS command line or using the web portal. You can just say, here's the template, here's all the infrastructure stuff. Go run this, and it'll spin up all the stuff, and then it just makes things much easier for deployment. So all that's deployment stuff. Beacon Explorer. So yeah, all the Beacon Explorers, all the Block Explorers, all the blockchain indexing, metadata, information stuff. PulseX, PulseChain, stats reporting websites. So that could be some of the metrics for validators, whether it's what are the different, I forget the different ones you can use, but there's a bunch of different stats and stuff internally for the validators you can use. And then it sounds like there's going to be some external ones too. So I don't know how much we know about those yet, but that could be interesting. Stack balance checker, we all know what that is. Creating to a fully functioning ecosystem is mind-blowing. Yeah, grateful to open source. Like I said, yeah, open source makes our life easier. There are bugs, but it's free. Pros and cons. Okay, I'm wrapping up here in 2 minutes, and I will blaze through questions, and I hope this was helpful. I know it was fast, but yeah, I don't have a whole lot of time today. Tomorrow is open mic, by the way. So come by 6:30 Eastern for open mic, and it's open mic. So we'll have 4 people on at a time. We'll rotate through people, and if you're in the community and you turn on your camera, if I don't know you, you can talk to us and ask us questions or clear the room on whatever you want to talk about. Just be nice. It should be good. March 11th. Cool. That's one with Aragon synced. Yeah, all this stuff. And then 13 hours ago, to be clear, testnet v3. I tweeted about this as well. Everyone who's like, oh, what if we just go to mainnet? from a dev perspective, that is not a good idea. You want all the PulseChain projects to have time to test the stuff. You want Richard's dev team to see if anything breaks. You don't want this Band-Aid, just grassroots. Oh, we'll just fix it if it breaks. We're okay with downtime. No, none of that stuff it's not Richard's brand. Richard is that does not help his glory. He's very mission driven, and fixing bugs on Mainnet does not help his mission. I'm not gonna say it hurts it either, but it doesn't help it. So, anyways, we're caught up. I'm gonna look at questions now. Jesus, I had this. My bad. I should have hid that comment, but so you could see the screen better. 96 people. I hate to run, but I'm going to have to after I look at questions. So, question from Chris A. So, you think highest to 6, the documentary will be out while V3 is public before Mainnet? Can't wait for all that hype. Yeah. Ooh, I don't know. I went through this question a few different times. There's so many different. I know Richard knows the answer. I know he probably has this war whiteboard where he has all this stuff written on it. He's already got the plan for all this. I could see benefits in every way. I can make a case for the documentary launching now. I could just, assuming testnet's going to be here very soon within, I think we're looking at days and weeks. We're not looking at months anymore. Just my opinion. I don't get predictions very often, but that one seems like we're closer than we've ever been, right? I can make a case for documentary going now. I can make a case for the documentary going afterwards. I can make a case for the documentary waiting longer. I don't know, man. I want to see it though. I gotta say, I've seen all the trailers and it looks fantastic. Fantastic. You can invert your backgrounds to the bullets going up to the right. Not a bad idea. Thank you for that, Earthling. I never noticed that. I might have to do that. At least it's going up. It's just going up to the left. But yeah, good idea. I'll have to remember that. Whenever someone asks for PLF, yeah, I know. More power to people who make price predictions. I don't like to be wrong, so I don't like to talk about stuff I'm not sure about. So making predictions, there's just not a lot of benefit to me in it. It's not your hype channel. This is your learn and have some fun channel, I guess. I think Ray Daddy is going to get into Hex. Well, I certainly hope so. We can use all the billionaires that have long-term investing mindsets that we can get. What's up, Vets? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Crypto Artie, good to see you again. Hope to see you in Miami, along with everyone else as well. If you're going to make it there, glorious days and making everyone enjoy it. Yeah, we seem to be in better spirits. Our community's better spirits when price go up. I think it was a welcome price go up this time. Kevin Bedane, when do you think Mainnet? What price do you predict? Yeah, I don't make predictions. Mainnet, if we have days or weeks for testnet, I don't know. I think safe to say, again, I'm pretty conservative with my deals, but safe to say 2 or 3 months after testnet. Does anyone want to hear that? I don't know, but that's my don't get my hopes up estimate of. I think it's reasonable to have 2 or 3 months of testing on testnet before mainnet. There's still, I'm sure, a lot of stuff that needs to be prepared. Richard's probably just trying to get mainnet out the door right now, and then he's gonna take some 60, 90 days to figure out the mainnet little details. Like I said, I think he's already figured out pretty much everything, but a lot can change 60, 90 days. Maybe market conditions, maybe opportunities here and there that he wants to make sure to take advantage of. We'll see. We shall see. Just going down. Yeah. I'm not buying PLS until prices stabilized at 0.1. So the SAC price is 3 zeros and a 1, I believe. One of those, 2 zeros or 3 zeros to a 1. So at that rate, you've already got a 10 or 100x. I think that's a stabilization, meaning what what the market will value it at after the volatility. That'd be cool. I'm cool with the 10x, 100x, 1000x, 10,000x. Let's get it. I'm curious about things so impossible to answer. Oh, not sure what you're referencing on that one, but oh, maybe the other 01. I'm curious about ways to make more money before launch. Well, as I showed the hex before, we see that people who bought here and people that bought here, people that bought here and people that bought here, at least today, are up. So there's that. There is that. What's up, Crypto Truth? Uncle Will. I'm on fire. PH. I love it. I remember it makes me think of Meet the Parents when Ben Stiller goes in the brother-in-law's room. Danny, I think is his name. Hilarious actor, by the way. He also played on, I'm a sort of a movie buff, especially comedies, my favorite. He played on the Scary Movie series as well, at least the first couple. So he goes in his room and he's like, Danny's got a poster of Lil' Kim on the wall. This movie is made in probably the year 2000. And he says, he's like trying to relate to him or whatever, trying to be cool. He's like, oh, Lil' Kim, she's fat. And back then, fat with a PH was a popular thing. So when you say I'm an old PH fart, that's what makes me think of. So appreciate that nostalgia as well. Early 2000s for computers were amazing. Golden era for some of us nerds. Definitely need 6 weeks of public testnet runs flawless. Yeah, 6 weeks, 12 weeks. It's weeks, months, not days, not straight to mainnet. So anyone who has 5 hours should get an early viewing. That would be cool. I think they sold some collector's edition stuff too, so that could be exciting. Crypto Truth, what's up, man? Yeah, do whatever you want. I do not monetize. The number count, I guess, is the currency. The subs, the followers, the likes, the comments, those are currency. But I really just care about having utility to the community. That's why I started streaming in the first place and taking my talents to where they'll be treated the best. Man, the Hex community, appreciate all your support. And I think that's all I got. Thanks for all the questions. Thanks for listening. Hit me up on Twitter if you need anything else. And with that being said, we are out. Scivive and 5555, everyone.